Alright everybody, hello. I'm going to try and adjust my microphone here a little bit. Waiting for the post notifications to go out so that everybody is aware that we are live, and waiting for everything to come through. Hold on as I skid across the road here. Trying to find something here on my device. Folks, my name is Angel. I'm the host of Have Faith, Let It Begin. And if you haven't noticed, I have not been live this week, and that's because due to illness. It has been probably the worst 2 months I've endured in quite some time. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, when Ariel got sick, I haven't had an opportunity to kind of get back on track as I like to. I've noticed that when things happened, especially in my life, I tend to have a huge setback, and mainly I wear a lot of my frustrations, and I deal with a lot of when I deal with a lot of things that stress me out. I think eventually I get sick. We'll eventually cover that in a future episode once I get well. So I've come to the conclusion that I am probably not going to be well enough to go live officially with a live episode for the rest of this week. So last night I went into my archives and I've picked out 3 episodes. Today we'll be airing Laci of Communication, which aired back in June of 2018. We're going to air the 2-part series on Thursday and Friday that aired in December, early January, with my sister Leanne and my sister-in-law Jen, which was one of the highest rated shows of that month. And that's entitled Fake People. It is a 2-part series. It is a series in which we had 2 people on the show. And if you haven't heard it, it's a great episodes. So again, today is Laci of Communication. Thursday and Friday will be part 1 and part 2 of Fake People. And I encourage each and every one of you to listen to them. So for now, my name is Angel. I'm sorry that I'm unable to give you 110%, even 100%. But as you have all know me by now, when I don't give 100%, I'd rather just take the time to rest. But I am coming to you live right now from the car to tell you that in person rather than pre-recorded. So this will be a live episode as far as me launching it, but it's a pre-recorded episode that aired months ago. For that being said, let's get started with another rendition of Have Faith, Let It Begin, entitled Laci of Communication. I'll see you again tomorrow for another intro. Thank you.
Hi, I am Mia. You're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hello, my name is Amari, and today we are back on another episode of Have Faith and Let's Begin. Hi, my name is Isabella, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hey, this is Freddie, and you're listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
When I was a child, my mom always told me, Angel, when you were born, all the angels came from heaven. Do you know why? Because you're special. On June 16, 2018, I launched my show, Have Faith, Let It Begin. I always wanted to change the world, share my personal testimony, share real-life stories and motivational topics to set out to go out and change the world. Join me each and every week, Monday through Friday at 6 a.m., because this is a show all about faith. My name is Angel, and welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. My name is Angel. Happy Tuesday. Folks, let's get right into it, because I got to tell you, it's a topic that I wanted to discuss in the last 24 to 48 hours. I had a discussion yesterday morning with my friend, we all know him, Brian, and, we were talking about the job itself, the workforce. And I find that, a lot of times people that vent to me talk about the lack of communication that happens in the workforce. So I know that we've kind of done things about communication. So I want to kind of get a little bit more in depth with that, because I think it was something that he brought to my attention that we definitely need to shed light on. So Brian, I want to thank you for this idea for this topic, and let's get started.
every day you go to work, you are put in positions where you feel as if your management or your managers are constantly delegating things to you. And you sit back and you wonder, well, what are they doing? Why is it that I feel like I'm doing all the workload, I should say. I had that in my past. I am so happy to tell you that I don't have that problem now where I work. I'm not just saying that because I'm, thinking that people are going to listen, but it's the truth. I feel like I'm finally reached a certain level. I think a lot of it has to do with age too, where you're able to, put differences aside. You can take criticism differently, and you can certainly give feedback when you feel like your voice needs to be heard. But I don't want to get off topic. Let's go back to what I was discussing. Lack of communication in the workforce is so big, and a lot of this is going to tie into so many different things, so it's going to sound like I'm rambling, but I feel that a lot of this deals with the customer service industry too, because all this ties in. It's all intertwined. I just can't believe how many times I'll call some places and people that are working for companies, either they don't have the proper tools, the knowledge, or the dedication, or even the desire to want to help you as the consumer. This can go also with insurance companies, customer service representatives at a clothing store, retail. That's what I meant to say, retail. Even going to a gas station just to pay for simple gas on pump 3. You feel like you're running into somebody that, as if you're stabbing them in the heart, because they obviously don't want to be there. They don't like their job. They hate their job. And a lot of it stems from their leadership. I'm a firm believer that when you're a manager, you have to lead by example. You're only as good as your staff. Your staff will rise to the occasion if your leadership skills dictate and show that you have the capability of having and earning your respect of your peers. I've told you guys many stories over the years of my years, not over the years of the show, because we've only been around since June of last year, but I've shared with you many stories of different management, and another story came to my mind, and I'm going to share it with you. I can't get over the fact that while I was working in New Jersey, I had so many different types of interactions with my manager where they told me to do one thing, but yet my way, let me rephrase that. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. Let me rephrase that. When I started working in New Jersey, they had a certain foundation. And my mindset going in was, I've done this for years. Now, that was my biggest flaw. I went in there with the notion that because I've been successful with this method years in the past, I didn't realize that the times have changed. And I got a rude awakening real quick. But you see, it was at that moment that I realized that I needed to change. And some of us don't like change. I noticed that at that point, I had to listen. I had to get the feedback. But when I wanted to express my feelings or, be heard about what I think I could tweak, that was not acceptable. It was one way or the other. And in essence, probably my downfall. But I believe I have a way with people, and in the sales industry, there's a lot of stress, and sometimes you have to be a certain type of manager, and the way they wanted us to instill fear, because they felt fear gave productivity, when in reality, fear, made the doors rotate, revolving door, to be example. So, back to what my friend Brian and I were discussing. We talked about how in our past, management would come into work, do half the work, and then appear to be not doing any work for the remainder of the day, taking longer breaks, walking around, chatting with other people. But then when they came back, it was as if they were able to yell at you and and ridicule you, but more importantly, reprimand you for things that you didn't complete, which could have gotten done if that person, that manager, was doing what he or she should have been doing, which is work with their staff. Management is not an easy thing. Otherwise, everybody would be a manager. But being a leader and leading by example, we can all do. We can do it at our homes. We can do it anywhere else. If you're not, in your opinion, born to be a leader, you can be a leader in so many different ways. But you have to learn to stick up for yourself. You have to learn to believe in yourself, and you have to learn to allow yourself to be heard when a manager or managers are doing things that you feel are not acceptable. The hardest thing that I think tends to happen with myself is I'm not a manager. I'm a lead in the department, which means I'm in charge of everybody else, but I really don't write people up. I don't monitor it. It's just really more of a leadership role. And the hardest thing I think happens in every job is gossip. We've talked about gossip many times. We've done episodes on gossip. And true to form, gossip kills the work environment. Gossip kills the workforce. And if you don't have the right leadership roles, you will allow the inmates, so to speak, to run the asylum. And we can't have that. You have to have that capability of knowing who your staff is, knowing what it is that their weaknesses are, where their strengths are. And if you have somebody that you're managing that has great leadership qualities, put that on them and say, listen, I need you to help me lead. Because sometimes you don't have to be the greatest manager, but if you have a great staff, they can make you a better manager. And you should always, number one, as a manager, you should always be looking for your replacement. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in the sense of you should be thinking about moving up so that when you move up, you have the next person in line to take your place. Some of you may be saying, well, that may not happen in my job because there's nowhere to go up in the company. I'm plateaued. I'm making the only amount of money that I can make. Okay, well, you've earned that right to be there. So at that point, put yourself in a position to be more of that leader role. But don't forget who you are. And do it, because you believe in it. Don't do it because you're told to do it. Communication is so important, and lack thereof in the workforce makes the job so much harder, and by far makes it worse to be around people. Why would you want to be around anyone that makes you feel uncomfortable? Why would you want to be around somebody that you know will not do the job, and yet you're doing double the work? It's not fun. I don't want to do that. I don't think you want to do that. So what's the lesson in all this? Well, it goes like this. Sometimes in life, we're going to put ourselves in a position to realize, are we followers? Are we leaders? Do we have the capability of being a manager? Do we want to be a manager? What makes us thrive? What makes us succeed? What makes us have the drive to be who we are today? Think about that as you're walking into work or driving into work this morning. But remember this, when a job or a workforce is not fun, in my opinion is, if I feel like I have to wake up and not want to go to work, time for a new position. I'm not saying quit your job. I'm just saying it's time for a change. It's time to step up. Sometimes when you think that it's everybody else against you, maybe it's you against them. Maybe you're putting yourself to not want to be that person that can add so much skill, so much talent to your team. Think about that today as you drive or go into work. And may God be with you. May He bless you. May He keep you. May He continues to shine His face upon you and give you nothing but peace. I hope this was kind of helpful. It was something that I felt needed to be discussed. And it's always a pleasure to come into your homes each and every day, into your cars, and into your life. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of that.
Have faith. Let it begin.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Have Faith, Let It Begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, man love. You know, we're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. That's right, you and I are going to help change the world. Do you think that you can do that for me? Huh? Yeah, you know you can. She does. We want to let you know, and yes, we encourage you to listen to our show each and every weekday, and it's going to be live at 7:30. Make sure you're subscribed to our show. Make sure you get ready, fasten those seatbelts, because Ariel and I and my family are going to bring you a new topic, a new story each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day. That's right, everybody. Just because I'm sick doesn't mean the shows don't stop. I will continue to have 2 other episodes as I battle bronchitis. God bless you and have a great day.